Morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media. Welcome to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Daily Press Briefing. On October 30th, 2011, a team of officers from the Professional Standards Bureau of the TTPS, headed by ACP Raymond Craig, arrested a police officer with over 25 years service in Tobago for the following offenses. 1. Misconduct in public office. 2. Transferring a firearm not authorized to do so. And 3. Transferring of ammunition not authorized to do so. The officer, who worked at the Scarborough Police Station, will appear before a Scarborough magistrate this morning. In St. Joseph District, around 1:45 p.m. on October 30th, a 45-year-old male who resides at La Saiva Village, Maracas, was at home in his yard when he observed two men, one of African descent and one of mixed descent, open his gate and entered his premises. One of them pulled out a firearm, pointed it at him, and ordered him inside. The brother-in-law of the victim observed what was taking place from a window, fired his licensed firearm at the men, hitting one of the suspects in the chest and leg. Both suspects ran off. However, the injured suspect was held a short distance away. He's presently under police guard at the Mount Hope Hospital. Investigations into this matter is continuing. For the Spain CID, a roadblock exercise was conducted on Friday, the 28th October, between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. by CID officers in the Duncan Street and Independence Square area. As a result, 34 tickets were issued for traffic offenses, and one person was arrested and charged with possession of a stolen vehicle. And Acting Inspector Jawar and Inspector Singh spearheaded this exercise. An exercise was conducted on Saturday, the 29th, in the Besson Street District by Port of Spain CID, IATF, K9, Court and Process, and spearheaded by Inspector Singh and Acting Inspector Bruce. As a result, 17 persons were arrested for narcotic offenses. 3 traffic tickets were also issued. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service assures the public that officers are highly motivated and are steadfast in their drive and commitment to make Trinidad and Tobago safer, not only for themselves, but also for their neighbors, their families, husbands, wives, children, cousins, aunts, and uncles. Through inquiries conducted by the officers, they have gained considerable knowledge, intelligence, and information that is being used to ensure that the situation that prevailed prior to the state of emergency will not be repeated. The TTPS, in addition to working towards the fulfillment of our mandate, also implements projects and programs in communities aimed at restoring the fabric of communities ravaged by crime. The Hearts and Mind program, which is managed by the Interagency Task Force, is one such program. The Hearts and Mind team works with schools where there are troubled young people to restore and maintain discipline and order. The team also visits the homes of the troubled young people and try to build a relationship with the youngsters and their family in order to steer them on the right track and provide a strong male figure for them as well. They also ensure that the troubled teens do their homework, report for school, and do not engage in any criminal activity. What they try to do is eliminate borderlines between the communities by having events where everyone can participate. They host missionary doctors at least 3 times a year that provide free health care, including dental care for the residents of Laventille and Sea Lots. They also provide transport for people to get to the doctors as well. Schools and parents who want to contact the team and want to participate, or any member of the public that would like to participate in these types of initiatives, can call PC Romany at 7294574, PC Neptune at 328-8151, or PC Alder at 334-4725. P.C. Parsons, a police officer attached to the Community Police Unit in Sandy Grande, won the first ever West Indian Regional Calypso Monarch, which was held in St. Lucia, Castries recently at the Cultural Center. It's part of that country's celebration for Police Week. The event, which was open to police officers from the Caribbean, brought participants from 9 Caribbean countries: Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Dominica, Martinique, Antigua, Montserrat, and of course Trinidad and Tobago. The participating countries sent their reigning local police calypso monarch to take part in the event, and of course PC, what's his name? Parsons from Trinidad and Tobago won. So we'd like to congratulate PC Parsons. He won the first prize, beating the 8 competitors, got a trophy and some cash. And I'll open the floor for any questions that you may have.
Mr. Sang, good morning. Just one question related to the Moruga, the detaining of the officers in Moruga. Has any charges been laid against those officers as yet? And if not, why? What's the delay?
Okay. I spoke to the chief investigator this morning, that's Mr. Craig. He said that inquiries are continuing, and that's all he can say on the matter. Okay. I asked him this morning.
Mrs. Sang?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You mentioned an officer was held in Tobago.
Yes.
All right. Okay. What is the name of this officer?
Well, as you know, he's going before the court this morning, so he can't give out.
And his rank?
I didn't get his rank.
All right. Okay. Then you said that the 2 men that were held in La Saiva.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Do you have an age on the suspect and where he's from?
No. I think I said one was in the
That same one that was injured and in custody?
Yes. I don't think the 2 were held. I think one was...
Do you have any information on him?
19. He's 19 years of age. The one that's in the hospital. I don't know.
Good morning. Just one question. I just wanted some clarification before I ask. I wasn't here on Friday, but I looked at the tape on work, and I heard you say that the purpose of this SOE, the purpose of this daily briefings really is to present figures and other information and not to take questions. Generally speaking, if we are to have questions, we have to email those questions. Am I right?
What I said, and you were here the last time when I spoke about how the development of this daily press briefing came about. What I said on Friday, in fact, I even circulated the statement given by the commissioner at the very beginning, the first day that we had the press briefing. I didn't say that no figures are going to be given. What I said is this is a daily press briefing of the TTPS where we provide information on developments taking place within the service. It was just by chance that the state of emergency occurred, and we also started providing that type of information as well. I also said that initially, at the start of the state of emergency, all the heads of the various protective services began the process of giving an update every day to the nation on that. All right? The fact is that this is a TTPS daily press briefing. If you would like, I could provide you with a copy of the commissioner's statement.
I'm just asking, what's your position in relevance to questions being asked? I heard you say on Friday that, generally speaking, the purpose of this briefing is not to take questions. And that
I didn't say that. I said that how many questions that are asked, sometimes I don't have the information available at hand. So to ensure that the response is obtained, I would suggest that a email be sent to the Public Affairs Unit ahead of time, not 20 minutes, not a half an hour before the press briefing, but given sufficient time so that some investigation and inquiries can be conducted so that your questions can be answered.
Well, let me just ask you this in light of all of that. What is your position on a particular feeling of members of the media and some of my colleagues here that this press briefing, as a matter of fact, really amounts to a waste of time? And that if the police believes that they want to send out figures, they can do so by a press release to print and a recording to electronic media, which the AV unit has done before. And that is in the context of the fact that on many pressing matters, information that the media wants or is being sought is not provided. And in relation to questions being emailed, the last time Akil Simon said he had been asking questions for 6 months, there have been emails from The Guardian and CNC3, and I can tell you that I sent an email about 2 weeks ago and I have never even received an acknowledgement email. And in light of those things, do you agree then that this really amounts to a waste of media time?
As I said before, this press briefing was developed based on discussions that we had with the media at the stakeholders meeting since last year. Akil Simon, the questions he asked, some of those information has not been made available. Some of those are updates that we cannot provide at this point in time. He was informed of that. Those things that we can provide information on, we have provided that information. Regarding your questions, those questions that you asked have already been dealt with before, and I just felt, let me finish.
I wasn't going to say anything, I just put in my mind.
And therefore, we did not respond to those questions publicly. If you still want us to give you that information, it's not a problem.
Well, then you see, seeing that you addressed me directly, I just want to respond. But don't you think it's highly impolite not to even send an email explaining what you've just explained 2 weeks after I asked those questions?
As I said before, and last week, or when the first time you started coming, I told you that those questions that you had sent were already addressed. I told you that.
So your position is that this media briefing is not a waste of time?
This media briefing is developed to provide information to the national community through the media. The option is yours to attend if you so choose. At the end of the day, we cannot force the media to attend. What we do is make available the information. The option is yours to attend, to share the information with the national community. The media had indicated that they didn't have an opportunity to get information from a direct source through the TTPS. This was developed through that consultation, which was conducted in November last year.
Mr. Sang, recently in the news there had been a controversial issue. You have dealt with it in your way, the commissioner has dealt with it in his way, and that's the issue of persons being outside, where actually they can be in terms of the curfew, in terms of outside. My question is, have you all sought to have a legal team deal with this? Because there has been enough time. It's not something we have to send an email. It has been going on. Does the legal team visit these various things you all come to tell us there in terms of what could be done in terms of the SOE and whatnot? Is there a legal team?
I'm of the view that the Minister of National Security has cleared up any information that may be circulating regarding that.
Mr. Sang, he's not a lawyer. Does the police service have a legal team visiting these things, these various explanations that you are given, so that when you come here, it's legal? Because all we get in is a police view.
We have a legal department, and as I said before, the Minister of National Security has already dealt with the matter. I don't feel that I need to say anything else on it.
The question has still not been answered yet.
Well, I think you need to take the question regarding the state of emergency to the Minister of National Security. He has already dealt with the matter.
Mr. Sang, you have made a statement. The commissioner have made a statement. They didn't go to the Minister of National Security.
What I did,
as a legal team visited these various things you all want to say.
What I did, I read the Act, Section 14(1)(c), which outlines what is prohibited. And that's what I did.
Mr. Sang, for the second time, you have said that the issues that I sent to the email have already been dealt with, and they were dealt with some weeks ago. But I want to ask you something. If 2 weeks ago was the first occasion on which 2 suspects were freed by the court on gang-related charges by a police, because the police failed to send a file to the DPP. That is one of the questions I asked. How that could have been dealt with before it happened? Because you didn't respond to that. And you are saying that it was already dealt with. So I'm saying to you, I asked that question, you haven't responded, but you're saying it was dealt with. And if you could explain to me how was it dealt with before it actually happened, that would be nice.
I don't have that information for you right now.
Which information you do have for me right now? The information about my email?
The question that you just asked, I don't have that information
No, listen,
right now.
I am not now asking the question. That was one the email sent 2 weeks ago.
As I said to you already,
Yeah.
I don't have that information in front of me right now. Whether it was found already or the information was collated already, I don't have that response in front of me right now. So therefore, it would be wrong of me to give a comment.
All right, I'm finding difficulty following your logic and your reasoning. Because at this stage, you're telling me the information is not in front of you. And twice before, you're telling me that it was already dealt with. I am not asking you whether you have the information in front of you or not. I am asking you, based on your comments twice that it has already been dealt with, How could that have been dealt with before it happened?
I'm listen to me, eh? Anyways, any other questions?
Oh, so you're not answering the question?
Any other questions?
Mr. Sang, in terms of arrests, how many persons have been arrested so far? How many have been released, and for what reasons? Is it just because they did not satisfy the court, or what were some of the other reasons persons have been released for? And how many persons have been arrested in the Westmoreland and the Eversley area and whatnot? And last but not least, the minister said that they'll be dealing with white-collared crime. How many persons have been arrested or held or is being investigated for white-collared crime?
As you would know, we have 9 divisions across Trinidad and Tobago. Persons are arrested, some persons receive bail, some persons are released. I don't have those figures in front of me at different times. Sometimes they charge it, sometimes they take their own bail. People are arrested for a variety of reasons. So the figures in front of me, I do not have.
I'm sorry to be late, but I just have 2 quick questions. Maybe you would have addressed them earlier, I'm not sure, but if you can again, I'd appreciate it. In terms of the attorneys that the police service have looking at the question of what constitutes indoor and outdoor, can you tell us at what stage is that review of the particular regulation?
Well, last week, the Minister of National Security has clarified any information regarding that. So we'll leave it at
You
that.
announced that the police have attorneys looking at the regulations.
That was prior to the Minister of National Security clarifying the matter.
So it has been clarified as far as the police are concerned.
Yes.
And what was the clarification? Because I missed it.
Well, I wasn't there in the Parliament when the Minister brought some information to light, so you'll have to check with them.
And the 7 officers that have been arrested, can you tell me what is the latest with that investigation?
Well, I spoke to the ACP this morning on the matter. He said how inquiries are continuing.
Sorry?
I spoke to the ACP in charge of the investigation, Mr. Raymond Craig, this morning on the matter. He said inquiries are continuing.
Yesterday, Moruga residents said that one of the witnesses to the event was taken by police, and they were concerned about his whereabouts. Can you confirm or deny that a witness was taken to an ID parade yesterday?
I don't have any information on that, but once I find some, I will email the media before this afternoon, before 5 o'clock, to let you all know.
And one last question concerning the fatal accident in Arangua some time ago in which 3 persons had died. Can you all give us any update on that situation? Because we were told that police officers were reviewing the CCTV footage regarding the accident. Can you give us any update on that?
No, I have no update, but I will find out and send you something.
Mr. Yasang, what legal background, if any at all, does the Minister of National Security have?
I don't know, you'll have to ask him that.
Again, I ask for the sake of clarity. Twice on this morning and on another occasion, you said that the reasons you did not respond to my email because those matters were already dealt with. And again, let me just finish. What I'm saying to you, that you would have dealt with those matters before 2 accused were freed in the court because of a failure by the complainant to submit a file to the DPP. And that's one of the specific questions I ask. And how is it logical or reasonable that that could have been dealt with before it actually happened in the court? That is what I'm asking, because you did not respond to that specific question.
Well, let me tell you, I don't remember the complete details of what your email contained, and when I review it, I will find that information and provide it to you.
The Police Service Association has expressed concerns about the manner in which the officers were arrested. Is the service, the Police Service Association yesterday expressed concerns about the manner in which the 6 officers were arrested. They deemed it unprofessional. Would you say that the police service is satisfied with the way in which the matter was handled?
You're talking about the association.
I'm talking about the arrest of the 6 officers and how they were treated. Concerns were raised by the association about the manner in which they were arrested.
I know that police officers arrest persons, all right? The way that they carry out their mandate, that is how they do it. I don't know what issue the association may have been raising. I'm not too certain, but any clarity on that, you would have to direct that question to them.
please forgive me, I don't think I'm overbearing. I just want to be totally sure in my mind about what's happening here. Because you've said that we must email questions for you all to answer. I'd just like to find out what's the process in terms of how you all review those emails. Because if you're saying you came twice here and with a certain degree of confidence said, I haven't answered your question because they have been dealt with before. But here is, I wrote an email and it's specific and asking specific questions. And now you're saying you don't remember that part. What's the process of review? Do you all just look at the email and say, okay, or do you all look at each thing specifically? Because I mean, if I were in public affairs and I got an email, I would look at specific questions to answer them specifically. Because I mean, you did come here twice and say, well, it's been dealt with already, so that is why I ain't deal with it.
As I said to you already, I can't remember all of the contents contained in your email. At this point in time, I will look at it again, and if there's any information that is lacking, I'll provide you with an update.
But if you can't remember, how can you come here this morning and tell me it was dealt with already?
You asked me
Are you willing to
specific-
backtrack? Are you willing to backtrack on the statement that it was dealt with already?
You asked me some specific question about a clause or a question that was contained in the email. As I said to you, I don't remember all of the questions that you contained in your email. So if you want me to respond to a question that you say that I have not answered in your email, which you sent 2 weeks ago, you will have to allow me to review it again.
But Miss Asang, in
What's your name again?
all manner of logic,
What's his name?
how can you say you don't remember and then come here and say it's dealt with already?
As I said before, you spoke about specific matters
I said an
which you
entire email with
raised.
specific questions.
You spoke about a specific matter which you said has not been addressed. I said to you, I don't remember everything, all the details contained in your email. What is it that you're not understanding?
How can you say you don't remember what's exactly in the email specifically, but yet say this morning, 20 minutes ago, everything in my email was dealt with
Because
already?
obviously you feel that I have overlooked something. So maybe I didn't remember something that you contained in your email.
So, but then why
as
say it was
I
dealt with
said,
already?
as I said, if I have to repeat myself one more time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is committed to preventing and reducing the threat of crime, enhancing the safety and security of the citizens, thereby positively influencing the quality of our life in our society. Our mandate outlines our responsibility to maintain law and order, preserve peace, protect life and property, prevent and detect crime, apprehend offenders, and enforce all laws and regulations that which discharge. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police and the entire executive, we thank you, the members of the public, for your continued support and assistance in bringing the perpetrators of crime and criminal elements to justice. We assure you that all arms of the protective services are working well, extremely well together, utilizing a collaborative approach to bring law and order back to Trinidad and Tobago. We remind law-abiding citizens that they need not fear, that the activities of the police and the other arms of the protective services are aimed at those persons intent on breaking the law. We urge members of the national community to continue to partner with us, sharing information by calling 800-0699, 800-0700, 800-8833, 555, and 800-TIPS. We thank you again for your continued support. Good day.